Hello everybody, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. Welcome 2021. Lots of new champions. Some of them are great, some of them are not. So I figured out it's a great time to make a top 15 budget champions to build. So it's not gonna be a top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because those sort of tops, they just don't work, guys. And the reason for it is because every account is different. Everything is situational. This champion might be good for me, but it can be bad for you. It can be good for you, but it can be bad for the other person. And we can keep on going like this in a circle all day long. And we still can say this is the #1 champion because there is no such a thing in this game. So we're gonna start by factions, guys. I'm gonna list you the top 15 champions you should be working on early, mid-game. Some of them are super viable for endgame as well. But this video we're mainly focusing on budget champions, free champions. So we're gonna start first with the right faction, with the Banner Lords. Before we move over to that, guys, we're gonna announce the giveaway winners for the account, gems, and Summoner's Glory code in this video at the end as well. So stay tuned for that as well. Let's quickly start with the Banner Lords. So we're not gonna have epics in here, guys. We only have 2 epics in total, which is either a free one, either you can get it by fusing it. So we're gonna talk about those ones in a second. We're gonna focus on rare champions, uncommon champions, which can help your account to progress. So from the Banner Lords, the best rare champion that you can build, honestly, is Dagger. The reason for it, you can shoot 2 birds with 1 stone, okay? A lot of you guys are saying War Maiden is better. A champion that only provides one thing for the team is not better than a champion that brings up 2 different things which are important either in dungeons or other aspects of the game, right? So for whoever is not familiar with Dagger, she's actually recently released, I think with a previous fusion. We have her A1, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each critical hit decreases the target's turn meter by 4%. Pretty viable for a Fire Knight because of the double hit. Her A2 attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance, a 75% chance fully booked of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown. I know War Maiden does it by 100%, that's fine. It's nothing wrong with War Maiden, but it's nothing wrong with Dagger either. Sword Break Knife on a 3-turn cooldown, that's her A3, attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff instead if the target is under a decreased defense debuff, okay? So attack down and defense down AoE is great, right? We all need that sort of stuff, especially when we're trying to progress early on, mid-game. Attack down is so important. Once we reach endgame, honestly, attack down is important for clan boss if you're running a non-unkillable team. But rather than that, is not so important in dungeons anymore, okay? Her aura increases ally attack in faction creeps by 20%. So avoid the rare attack champion. Base stats are not great. Of course, we're talking about rare champions. Not a lot of them, they have insane stats. 12.7k HP, 1.3k attack, 793 defense, 101 speed, basic crit rate, 57 crit damage, and we start with 30 resistance. So it's not a bad champion, honestly. If you need anything from these skills, you still don't have an attack down champion, and you're in need of an attack down champion, feel free to start building her, use her. She's not a bad investment, right? Then, #2 champion. We're moving to high elves because Banner Lords doesn't really provide so much stuff from there. We do have a pretty good uncommon in the Banner Lords, but I felt like it's just not a place in this top for a commander. She's kind of more situational towards faction wars. Now, talking about high elves, right? We have 2 very strong rare champions in here, guys. Everyone's favorite, probably Apothecary. Honestly, this champion is an epic in disguise. His A1 attacks 3 times at random, great for Fire Knight, great for clan boss early on. You might be struggling with the speed and being able to tank a bit your champions. So using attack down on clan boss early and mid-game, once you reach brutal, yeah, you kind of need attack down. But before that, honestly, you shouldn't really be worrying too much about attack down because it's not so important on the lower clan bosses. You don't need to do so much damage. You don't need to survive like forever to bring up 20, 40, 70 million damage, right? So don't worry so much about attack down. His A2, shooting chant on 3-turn cooldown, fully booked on 2-turn cooldown, heals the target ally by 35% of the HP. This heal can be critical, so if you give him 100% crit rate, he's gonna fully heal the target, okay? That's what it means with heal can be critical. So giving him, for example, crit rate gloves is not a bad idea, or getting them from the substats. You do want to focus a lot of speed on him. Heal is literally all around, okay? Dungeons, faction wars, arena, clan boss, even Doom Tower viable, okay? His A3, boon of speed on 3-turn cooldown fully booked, places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. That's what makes him great in a lot of places as well, not just his A1 and the heal. Being able to buff the speed on all your champions on such a lower cooldown and giving them a bit of turn meter is actually amazing. Will help you a lot in dungeons and the rest of the content, because everybody's struggling with speed early on. His aura as well is great for dungeons, increases ally defense in dungeons by 21%. Now, he has pretty good base stats. We have 17k HP, 881 attack, 1000 defense, 106 speed, 15 crit rate, 50 crit damage, 30 resistance. He does not require accuracy for anything in his skill. Definitely a very solid champion. 2 years later, he's still there at the top, right? He's definitely one of the best rare champions in the game. Number 3 on the list is again from the High Elves. And we have Reliquary Tender, guys. Is a void rare support champion. We have a revive from her. We have cleanse, continuous heal, attack down, sorry. I was gonna say attack down on her A1. So Warden Staff attacks one enemy. Fully booked, has a 50% chance of placing a 25% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Yes, is the lower version of attack down, but if you have nothing else in your team, this can help you a bit as well on the bosses, especially in the dungeons. Her A2 on 3-turn cooldown removes all debuffs from all allies, then places a 15% continuous heal buff on them for 2 turns. Cleansing is actually huge. Continuous heal is a very strong heal as well. Then we have her A3, Call to Life on 5-turn cooldown fully booked, revives an ally with 30% HP and fills their turn meter by 30. Is not the strongest reviver skill in the game by any means, but it can provide a safe haven, to say like this. If your team is squishy, you're losing a champion here and there, she can kind of sustain a bit the team, bring them back up. Sometimes she's just not enough, honestly, to carry the whole team, because she only revives one champion. But with the cleanse, the continuous heal, she does bring up a powerful kit to your team. Then total stats, we have 18k HP, 859 attack, 958 defense, 103 speed, basic crit damage, and we start with 30 resistance. If you're not worried about attack down, don't worry about accuracy on her at all. Useful in dungeons, faction wars. In arena can be useful as well in the lower tiers. I know arena is not what it used to be, it's not as hard as before because it's full of bots now. So that's a good thing for you guys. But you still might require some nice strategies, some nice teams to be able to beat some of the bot teams, to say like this. They're not actual bots, by the way. They're new players to the game. Some of them they spend money, some of them they don't. That's why you see them on your list. They're not actual bots, and that's been proven by seeing a lot of new players that they're ranked up in tournaments, and then you find them on the bots list, to say like this. So that was it with the High Elves. Moving over to the Sacred Order, guys. We have a very, very powerful uncommon champion, used early game, mid game, end game. Is amazing. I did forget to specify, we're not gonna include starter champions. They are amazing champions, but everybody already knows about them, so we're not gonna put them on the list, even though I strongly suggest you 6-star your starter champion to farm campaign. Definitely build your starter champion. So, talking about Armiger, is one of the, I think is definitely the best uncommon champion. No doubt there. Just for the simple fact that it has so much utility, you can use him in so many places in the game, including Doom Tower. He's actually great for the Doom Tower, Spider, Fire Knight, Ice Golem. He's not great for Arena and the Dragon, but rather than that, he's an amazing champion with pretty good stats as well. So we have his A1, Riposte, attacks one enemy, decreases the turn meter by 30 if this attack is critical. And then his A2, Lay to Rest, on 2-turn cooldown, fully booked, attacks one enemy. Enemy skill by this skill cannot be revived, and damage based on enemy max HP, okay? So he's similar with Cold Hearts, Royal Guard, Septimus, and the other champions that we have like this. So great to keep the turn meter down, block revive if you need it for Dice Golem. In the Doom Tower, again, is huge on the Scarab King. Total stats on him, we have 15k HP, I mean base stats, 793 attack, 947 defense, 92 speed. He's a bit slow, so you might find it a bit harder to raise the speed on him. Basic crit, crit damage, and 30 resistance. This champion does require accuracy to decrease the turn meter. Block revive does not require accuracy, guys. So keep in mind, you do not need accuracy to block revive on any champion in the game, okay? Armiger, I am using Armiger in Doom Tower as well. I think he's an amazing champion. Number 4, guys. Everybody's favorite. And I don't honestly blame you. You can get her from a campaign. She's naked. Of course you guys like her. I don't blame you. War Maiden, right? Rare Force champion. We have her A1, ferocious attack, attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 2.5 poison debuff for 1 turn. Her A2, opportunity strike, on 3-turn cooldown, fully booked, attacks one enemy, places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion, and places an extra hit if this attack is critical. The extra hit cannot be critical. So the extra hit, you don't really want to bother to get it, okay? Because it's not going to be critical, it's not going to do a lot of damage. Then her A3, Crumbling Blast. On a 3-turn cooldown, fully booked, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance of placing a 60% increased defense debuff for 2 turns. Yes, if you have no defense down champion, no Royal Guard, no Tyrell, no Stag Knight, or any other crazy champion that does this AoE, definitely go in campaign, farm her, book her, and build her. She's an amazing champion. Still, after all this time, she's still there at the top. Base stats on her, we have a 14.7k HP, 1.3k attack, 727 defense, 97 speed, basic crit rate, 57 crit damage, 30 resistance, no accuracy. This is a champion that requires accuracy, guys. Then another champions from the Barbarians, a very, very solid kit. There's a lot of damage as well, is Soulbound Boyar, a rare attack champion. Spirit Affinity, we have her A1, Ancestral Guidance, attacks all enemies, has an additional 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So that means for this skill you require only 75 crit rate, and then she's gonna do the rest from that 25% extra. AoE is great, a stun set can help you a lot on her. Great for the Spider, can be great for the Ice Golem. She does have her place in the game. Even Arena, she can put up some work there. Her A2, on 3-turn cooldown, fully booked. Infused Arrow, attacks one enemy, has an additional 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit, will ignore 75% of the target's defense. So again, only 75% crit rate on her, and she's gonna ignore a ton of defense on the target, so probably she can one-shot most of the champs that you're gonna go against. Then her A3, Soulbound Shot, on 4-turn cooldown, fully booked, attacks one enemy, has an additional 25% chance of inflicting a critical hit, also has a 100% chance of fully depleting the target's turn meter. Great turn meter control. To fully deplete the target's turn meter control is actually huge, because you'll put the target back on 0 turn meter, making it losing the turn. So you only need to build her with 75% crit rate. That's great. It's so hard to build champions early, mid game on with full crit rate and balance the rest of the stats. So that's an amazing thing on her kit. Aura increases ally crit rate in all battles by 12%. Again, is amazing for everybody in all battles. So if you're struggling even more with crit rate, you get a bit of a more boost from the aura. Now, total stats on her: 13.5k HP, 1.2k attack, 870 defense, 96 speed, 15 crit rate, 57 crit damage, and 30 resistance. She does require accuracy to decrease the turn meter, so keep that in mind. You do want to have accuracy on her. Damage based on attack, of course. She's an attack champion. Then, the next champion we have on the list, guys. Ogryn Tribes, rare void champion. A beast of a champion. Again, one of the top rare champions in the game. 2 years later, he's still here at the top. Bellower, attack, support champion, sorry. His A1 Frazzle attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a block cooldown skills debuff for 1 turn. Huge carry on the waves. Like, he's amazing on the waves, honestly. Stun set, throw him in with some accuracy to actually get use of his debuffs from the skills, and he's gonna be amazing. So blocking the cooldown skills is great to stop the enemies from using their stronger skills. His A2, Mighty Bellow, on 3 turn cooldown fully booked, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Decreased speed is great as well. I am using Bellower actually in my faction war team at the moment. If we have any sort of rare tournaments or anything like that, I am using him in dungeons and stuff like that. So he's a great champion, definitely worth to 6-star him, no doubt. His A3, on 4 turn cooldown fully booked, attacks all enemies, has a 100% chance of placing a 25% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, and a 100% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. So, how I said, bringing a lot of stuff in the kit, that's what makes a champion great. And he has so much stuff in his kit. It's actually unbelievable how many things he can do with his AoE attacks. Then we have his aura, increases ally speed in faction crypts by 15%. I'm using his aura in faction wars. His base stats, we have 16.5k HP, 1k attack, 914 defense, 99 speed, basic crit rate and crit damage. We have 30 resistance and 15 accuracy. His damage is based on attack, so you want to give him attack. He can farm campaign as well. He's just honestly good at pretty much everything. Wherever you want to take him, he can do a job. Spider, great. He's not great for clan boss. Sorry, so let's skip the clan boss part. But rather than that, he's great everywhere. Now, the next champion we have on the list, guys, is an epic support champion that can be fused, okay? So it's not hard to get the fusion done. Broadma, okay? So early, mid-game, he can be a carry for you. If you have no other reviver, you have no increased speed, no increased crit rate, he can do an amazing job for a lot of you guys. We have his A1, Ice Blast, attacks one enemy, has a 35% chance fully booked of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. We have his A2, on 3 turn cooldown, places a 30% increased crit rate buff and a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. So you're getting increased crit rate, you're getting increased speed. Is great to help you on in the dungeons, in arena, in a Doom Tower, faction wars, whatever you need him, he can definitely help you. Then we have his A3, revives to random dead allies with 25% HP, places a block damage buff on the revived allies for 1 turn. That's great again. A lot of you guys are using lifesteal gear early to mid game, so that's great. He can revive them, then they can attack and actually get some heal back from the lifesteal gear. His aura increases ally defense in arena battles by 33%. Now, base stats on him, we have 18.6k HP, 1.1k attack, 958 defense, 104 speed, basic crit rate and crit damage, no accuracy and 30 resistance. You do require accuracy for his A1 if you want to have a bit of CC to land the freeze, but early mid game you don't need the insane amount of accuracy, so that's fine. Definitely fuse him if you need a reviver, guys. Trust me, a lot of people are underestimating Broadma, but he's actually not such a bad champion how people are saying. Now, the next champion we have on the list from the Skinwalkers is actually a new release champion. and that's Pantera. She's amazing for Fire Knight. Everybody needs to be the Fire Knight, right? So if you have her, definitely build her. She can help you a lot for the Fire Knight. So a rare attack champion, Void Affinity. Ray 1, close upon close, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each critical hit has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 3%. So decreasing the turn meter is not such a big deal, but that multi-hit 3 times is actually great for the Fire Knight. Then we have her A2, Devitalize, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 100% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Again, super good for the Fire Knight. If you're early game, mid game, you're not going to be able just to slam down the Fire Knight, so definitely considering building her if you got one and you're struggling with the Fire Knight. I'm telling you, she's great for that. She won't be so great for many other parts in the game because heal reduction, multi-hits, that's kind of what we need for the Fire Knight. Then her A3 on 3-turn cooldown places a perfect veil buff and a 30% reflect damage buff on this champion for 2 turns. That's pretty good. She can cover herself, get reflect damage. Reflect damage is great for the Fire Knight as well, so it counts as an extra hit for whoever was not familiar with that. We have the aura, increases ally accuracy in dungeons by 40, right? So you do want to have accuracy for dungeons. You might be struggling with accuracy. Her aura provides you a good support towards accuracy. Total stats, we have 13.5k HP, 1.2k attack, 848 defense, 97 speed, 15 crit rate, 50 crit damage, 30 resistance, and 10 accuracy. Not bad base stats at all, actually. Pretty good speed, pretty good defense, decent attack as well, and HP. So definitely, if you got her struggling with the Fire Knight, don't sleep on her. She can be your solution to the problem. The next champion we're looking for, guys, is from the Demon Spawns, right? The #1 campaign farmer in the game. It doesn't require insane stats to do it. Is Fellhound, okay? So he's a defense rare champion. Void Affinity. So we have his A1, attacks all enemies, has a 35% chance of placing a 15% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, and that's on that's fully booked. Damage is based on defense and attack, so I kind of have mine balanced. I have like equal amounts of defense and attack on him. Probably you want to focus a bit of more defense than attack, honestly. We have his A2 on 2-turn cooldown fully booked, places a 7.5 continuous heal buff and a 15% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. That makes him again amazing for the Fire Knight. If this skill comes in before the boss actually slams the shield on you, his count on the shield is gonna go down by 5 hits because of the reflect damage, okay? If you have all your team alive, of course. And getting a continuous heal is not bad at all. On 2-turn cooldown makes him amazing for the Fire Knight, so keep that in mind. Great for campaign. He's great to deal some damage on some of the dungeons as well. Great for blender comps as well. Then we have his A3 deflect on 3-turn cooldown fully booked. Places a block damage buff on an ally for 1 turn. That's pretty much all you need. You want to have a block damage on your lowest HP champion that's about to die. He can come in with a clutch and actually save that champion. His aura, we have increases ally defense infection crits by 19%. So not an insane aura. Base stats, we have 14.8k HP, 900 attack, 1000 defense, 92 speed, basic crit rate and crit damage, 40 resistance, and 0 accuracy, okay? He does not require accuracy, only for his A1. If you're deciding to bother with that, if no, I would probably give him a defense banner or anything like that if you build him up to level 60, but I definitely guarantee you won't regret it. I'm using him as a campaign farmer. He's doing an amazing job up to brutal, okay? He's not a nightmare campaign farmer, but brutal, and the rest he's gonna do it like a boss. 5 seconds, 6 seconds, depending by what ads are you carrying with him, and he does not require insane stats, okay? And is another thing here with him. If you're using him in campaign, and instead of just using his A1, he starts using the rest of the skills, is because his AI considers that he cannot one-shot the wave. So you might want to up a bit the crit damage on him, up a bit the defense, and that should fix out the problem, if you were wondering, if some of you have any issues with that. Right, the next champion, guys, and we got her from the battle pass. She's one of the top poisoners in the game, and that's Frozen Banshee, rare attack magic champion, and that hordes. She looks dope. She kind of reminds me of Game of Thrones for some reason. We have her A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 100% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a poison sensitivity debuff. So that makes her amazing for clan boss, great for the dragon to actually help you on the boss. Her A2 attacks one enemy, fills the thermometer of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. That's on a 3-turn cooldown, so she boosts a bit the thermometer on your team. It's not going to be a game-changing sort of boost. She's not using this skill in clan boss, which is great, so super viable for clan boss. Her A3, Frostblight, on 3-turn cooldown fully booked, attacks one enemy, places a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 2 turns. Now, this was the first champion in the game that brought in poison sensitivity. That increases the damage the target takes from a poison, guys, okay, by 25%. So it's pretty good to stack up a lot of poisons on the target, and the damage is gonna increase by 25% when the target gets a turn, okay? The aura increases ally accuracy in all battles by 35. Great to use it in clan boss if you're struggling with accuracy, in dungeons. So pretty solid champion, honestly. I really like Frozen Banshee. I've done quite a few teams for clan boss with her. We have her total stats: 14.7k HP, 1k attack, 1k defense, 99 speed, 15 crit rate, 50 crit damage, 30 resistance, and 10 accuracy. Now, she does not deal a ton of damage, honestly, so even if you build her with 2000 crit damage, she's still kind of gonna hit like a wet noodle. But she has pretty good base stats, pretty strong defense to use her for the clan boss. The next champion on the list, guys, probably some of you will be judging me here, saying that that's not a budget champion. But just because me, you, and other people had the bad luck not to pull the champion early, doesn't mean that is not a budget champion. It took me 8 months, over 330 voids to get this champion. Some of you might be waiting for her for over a year, and that champion, guys, is Cold Heart, okay? Early game she's not as great, but mid game, end game, she's a goddess, okay? So enemy max HP, she has so much stuff in her kit. She hits extremely hard. So she is the second hardest hitter in the game after Septimus, guys, okay? So we have her A1, attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Amazing for the Fire Knight. This skill to be able to knock down the shield so quick with the 4 hits is amazing. Unfortunately, they haven't managed to fix her AI for the Fire Knight just yet, but I'm praying that's gonna happen soon. Then we have her A2, Art of Pain, attacks all enemies, has a 35% chance of placing a 50% decreased accuracy debuff for 1 turn, places a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns if the target is under a heal reduction debuff. Amazing. Then we have her A3, the bomb on her kit, guys, Heartseeker, right? Everybody knows what Heartseeker is. Attacks one enemy, decreases the target's thermometer by 100%, has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Damage increases according to enemy max HP. That's on a 4-turn cooldown fully booked. You do want to book it so you get more damage as well. And you only need 70% crit rate for her. Definitely one of the top rare champions in the game. I would dare to rank her as the best rare champion in the game because of her utility all around, no matter what, where you are in the game, early, mid game, end game. She is a beast of a champion. Now, she is kind of squishy, so either you build her on a Savage, if you have great support, you build her on Cruel sets. If no, Stalwart set is great for her. Any sort of set that can actually bump a bit her HP and defense to make sure you keep her alive, okay? So we have 13.7k HP, 1.3k attack, 738 defense, 94 speed, basic crit rate, 57 crit damage, 30 resistance, no accuracy. You definitely want to have accuracy on her for her A3, A1, A2, depends where you're using her. So when I started this game, guys, it's been over 2 years ago when I started the game. A lot of people were running Cold Heart in Clan Boss. I was like, damn, I want this champion, But then it took me over 8 months to get her. So by that time we had so many different crazy champions for Clan Boss. Now, the next champion, she can be great early to mid game. Later than that, I would honestly not suggest you to probably 6-star her. Is Spirit Host, farmable from campaign. There are many other champions that do the job better. Now, if by any chance you just don't manage to pull a different champion that does her job in a better manner, definitely considering 6-starring her then, okay? So we have her A1 attacks one enemy, heals by 50% of the damage inflicted. Her A2 strengthen places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown. So she can be comboed nice with Ultimate Gallic for the Spider. For Arena, if you have no other attack down, she can be used there as well with a thermometer booster on the side. We have her A3, removes all debuffs on all allies, places a block debuffs buff on all allies for 1 turn, and that's on a 5-turn cooldown. So you're getting a cleanse and you're getting immunity for 1 turn, okay? That makes it great to go against Tormins in Arena and stuff like that. Then we have her A3, her aura, sorry, not her A3, increases ally speed in all battles by 10%. Now, this is not an amazing speed aura. When you start the game, mid-game, if you don't have a speed aura, she can kind of come in play from there. Speed auras are super important for Arena. Base stats, we have 15.3k HP, 1k attack, 958 defense, 103 speed, 15 crit rate, 50 crit damage, 30 resistance, and 0 accuracy. And I just realized I missed one of the champions, guys, on my list somehow. That's gonna be top 16 because I missed High Khatoon. I literally just realized that somehow she disappeared from my list. So we're gonna go back to High Khatoon in a second once we finish with the rest. The next one on the list that's amazing, guys, and can carry your ass quite a bit when you're talking about the accuracy here, is Kurzet. So he's a new champion as well that got released with the previous fusion. Void rare attack champion. His A1 attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical. The extra hit places a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. That's pretty good. Can be good for the Fire Knight, good for the Golem. His A2 attacks all enemies. Each critical hit fills this champion's thermometer by 7.5%. So he can gain quite a bit of thermometer back if he crits all the enemy team. And he cannot get weak hits because he's void. So in dungeons he can get quite a decent amount of thermometer back. His A3, this is the best part on his kit, guys. Super unique. On 3-turn cooldown, fully booked, places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Then attacks all enemies. Has a 100% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. So 50% increased accuracy is huge. If you're talking about Arena, you're finding a lot of resistance teams. In the Doom Tower, a lot of resistance on the hard mode. So he's gonna be great overall to take him in your teams, guys, honestly. So do not sleep on him. I know some people, they call him fake news, but he's definitely not fake news, okay? Bulwark is the last one on the list, guys. Great for Clan Boss. He hits pretty hard, and he just has a pretty unique kit as well for a red champion. We have his A1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 15% weakened debuff for 2 turns. So he's great early, mid game, even end game for some of the teams, unkillables with slow boys, or even non-unkillable teams. If you have no other better champions to fit your team, he can definitely do the job. He has tanky stats, so He can definitely work on Ultra Nightmare as well. So his A2 attacks one enemy, has a 100% chance of placing a HP burn debuff for 2 turns, that's fully booked. And we have his passive. When attacked, has a 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. So he's similar with the other champions that extend debuffs like this with the passive. You definitely have more use of this champion in the clan boss on affinities rather than void, because he will be getting hit multiple times on the AoE. Aura increases ally defense in all battles by 17%. Fairly strong aura as well for clan boss if you have no other better one. Base stats 13.8k HP, 837 attack. His damage is based on defense, so you don't have to worry about attack. We have a 1.2k defense, almost 1.3. That's a very high amount of defense for a rare champion, guys. That's what makes him so great and viable for endgame as well. 97 speed, basic crit rate, crit damage, 45 resistance, and 10 accuracy to start with on the base stats. He does need accuracy for all the skills that he has, including the passive, so you do need accuracy for this. That was it, the top 15. Unfortunately, I forgot the top 16, which is High Khatoon, so we're gonna transform it into top 16 here, guys. I honestly don't know how I forgot about her. You are getting her once you play the game for 30 days, okay? So I can't really remember. 30 days is early, mid-game. I think it's in between. I am considering in starting maybe a new account, free to play, guys, or super low spender, just to get that feeling back, being able to help you with the different strategies, a limited account and stuff like that. So do let me know in the comments down below if you would like me to do that. Would you like to see videos like that? Do let me know. So we have High Khatoon, guys. You get her for free by playing the game. Day 30, she's gonna drop in your roster here. So we have her A1, attacks one enemy, has a 25% chance, fully booked, a 40% chance of placing a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns. Her A2, on 3 turn cooldown, fully booked, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and places a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. And then her A3, on 4 turn cooldown, fully booked, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 15. Her aura increases ally speed in all battles by 19%. So if you don't have a Gorgorab, you don't have a Lissandra, you don't have another champion that has a better speed aura, and you don't have another turn meter booster, definitely 6-star her. You're gonna use her in Faction Wars, you can use her in the Doom Tower. She has a place early, mid-game, end-game on every roster, honestly, okay? So she kind of becomes a bit not useless, to say like this, not as strong once you get your Arbiter. We all know it's a long way to work on those missions to get Arbiter, so definitely work on her. Once you get Arbiter, she's not as viable because we have a better speed aura, better turn meter boost, increased attack from Arbiter, but a lot of you guys are not being able to speed tune your teams, so you might require to use a second turn meter booster. Now the reason why she's great for it is because she doesn't just boost the turn meter, she increases speed as well, something that Arbiter doesn't, okay? So not many turn meter boosters, they actually increase the speed as well. So definitely do not sleep on her. I do apologize for missing her in my first list here, and I actually had to bring an extra champion in here for you guys, but definitely considering working on these champions early, mid-game, some of them, how I said, viable for endgame, so if you're building them early on, you won't be regretting it later on. So that was my top for 2021 on budget champions, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we're gonna announce the giveaway winners as well. So I actually posted this on the community page on YouTube, posted it on Discord, shared it on Twitch, guys. So these are the winners that we have. We have the raid account winner, Stephen James. Funny thing, I had like 15 different people trying to claim this sportsman's account and trying to rip his luck. Unfortunately, it didn't work for them because I'm not just gonna hand you the account like this. You do have to prove that you're that person. So we're still waiting for this guy to drop in. I said 1 week, guys, for him to actually come and claim the account. If not, we're gonna re-roll. So hopefully for him that he's gonna see this video, see the community post or anything like that, and he's gonna claim it. Then we have the gems right here. The winners, we have a Faster Slasher, Mega Jenger, Leuzul, Ricardo, and T-Flex. So guys, I don't need you to contact me and give me your in-game ID that you can copy paste from the settings to be able to send you the gems. And then we have the Summoner's Glory winners, Radoslav Dimitrov, Max Schneitzer, Bloody Rabbit, Fire Society, Mega Jenger, Swift Mantra, Kun Aguero, Linda Blush, Dutza Alin, Vezia. So a couple of them, they already contacted me. A couple of them for the gems as well. So for the rest, guys, drop me a DM, either in Discord, either drop a comment on YouTube, and let's get in touch to be able to give you your prizes. Now, the way we've done this, guys, random commenter picker on YouTube, that's what picked the comments, okay? And that's how they got all the people lucky. That's how the giveaway went. Stay tuned if you didn't have luck to get it. We will be making different giveaways in the near future, guys. Stay tuned for it. Appreciate you all guys watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Turn on notifications to see when we upload next. Appreciate you all guys watching. See you all on a different video. Till then, peace out.